Well, Jose Felix Diaz, Jose Netflix Diaz said this afternoon in the newspaper that Klopp would already have said no to Real Madrid. And well, if Jose Felix says it, it's probably a message directly from the club. Although we're at a point where we don't believe anything, everything is just rumors. What I'm sure of is that it's going to be one of these two, either Klopp or Mourinho, because there aren't many more of that profile unless it's Shams. But Shams has the World Cup, unless it's Pochettino, but Pochettino has the World Cup. And it's hard to believe that a coach on the 11th of, the first week of June isn't already working with Real Madrid to plan for the next season, even from before, and maybe they reach an agreement with a coach. It has to be from May 15th onwards and start planning for the next season. Both of them, one doesn't have a job. Well, he does have a job, but at Red Bull, but he doesn't have a team. That's Jurgen Klopp, and the other is Mourinho, according to what Fabrizio Romano has said. And now I'll play his statements from this very afternoon as well. He's crazy about music, which I think we all already knew, but anyway, he's waiting for Florentino to give the final yes. And well, as this image generated by artificial intelligence shows, he would be waiting for the Germans' decision to take advantage of that situation. Because we all know that between the two, the one who would have the most difficulty accepting the position is Jurgen Klopp. Why? Because here Jose Felix is saying that he's waiting for the German national team and that he's calm and comfortable with his position as sporting director of the Red Bull Group. And until Germany calls him, he's not interested in coming to Madrid. One more thing, by the way, I recorded a video with Quique Recio. I think it's a very interesting conversation, which I'll post tomorrow morning. This Friday, May 1st in the morning, in which, well, we still leave open the possibility, of course. Also, that's what I would like the most for Jurgen Klopp to come. What would his relationship be like with certain Real Madrid players? And what would Mourinho's relationship be like with certain Real Madrid players? In any case, either one, I think it would be different from the relationships that both Xabi Alonso and Arbeloa have had with these players, because of a lack of tact, because of coddling some of them too much for whatever reason, maybe because they're young coaches. So, well, we're back to the same thing, aren't we? Real Madrid needs an older, seasoned guy, someone who has already won Champions League titles, someone who, well, when one of these guys acts up in the locker room, just tells him to get lost, right? This is what Jurgen Klopp said when Xabi was fired. If Xabi Alonso, who showed for more than 2 years at Leverkusen what an extraordinary talent he is as a coach, has to leave Real Madrid after only 6 months, it shows that things are not 100% right at the club. He stopped there. He wasn't harsher, but he did criticize the club. When I saw this in January, I thought, if they want him to come, it's impossible, since he clearly disagrees. How does the club handle coaches and projects, right? And I couldn't agree more. Now then, these opinions can change for many reasons, right? Because of the type of project they might offer you and, well, the involvement of Toni Kroos. Do we believe that Toni Kroos could be talking to Jurgen Klopp, that Anas Lagari is trying to do that? And that, well, that Toni is kind of like an emissary for the club, who is going to return to the club, by the way, and that this would already be like his first job. Well, we can imagine anything. Honestly, I would love that. Klopp and Kroos seem like a very interesting duo to me for many reasons that we're going to discuss in the next video with Quique Arretio from Madridismo al Dia. But anyway, that's not the topic of this video. Is to remember why, or the reasons why Jurgen Klopp, his starting point is no. I'll also tell you that there are many negotiations that seem broken and then get back on track. And in the end, what today might seem like a no, later turns into a yes. Today, Jose Felix Diaz said this. Well, Fabrizio Romano shared this in the afternoon. He was talking about the situation between Jose Mourinho and Jurgen. It seems that everyone agrees it would be one of the two. According to Fabrizio Romano, Mourinho has said yes to Real Madrid, yes to Florentino Perez, and is simply waiting for a response from Real Madrid. It might make sense because Madrid's first option is Jurgen Klopp and they're waiting to see what the German decides. And today everything might have been rushed. Everything might have been rushed, according to Jose Felix and according to the newspaper. It's a shame and forbiting theater. According to Fabrizio Romano, he has said publicly that he is open to coaching again before Real Madrid makes a move. I don't know if that's the case or if they've already talked to him directly. I think they've already talked to him. I think those conversations have already started. Here it suggests to us that those conversations may not have started because Jurgen Klopp would have to announce it officially. Well, let's see. Let's see what ends up happening. In any case, if Mourinho comes, I prefer Jurgen. Let me know in the comments what you think. But if Mourinho comes, I think he's the second best option. Here's information from Cadena Ser by Anton Meana, which someone mentioned to me earlier on X. If you trust Anton Meana, no. If true, we should take it with a grain of salt. Which says that the locker room and Real Madrid prefer Jurgen Klopp much more than Jose Mourinho. And they believe that the Portuguese is a ticking time bomb who could clash with them when it comes to managing egos. And this almost puts me more on Mr. Jose's side than on Mr. Jurgen's side. Just listen to what I'm telling you. Because I get a kick out of it, and whoever wants to get mad at me can get mad. In January, everyone already got mad at me and left the channel. I don't care. Surely all those people are coming around to my way of thinking. A locker room that needs fixing. Well, the thing is, we're in the middle of the season and we have to trust the team. But you've seen it, right? They've done whatever they wanted with one coach and with the other. That won't happen with Don Jose. And it won't happen with Klopp either. And if they think one is easier than the other and more manageable than the other, please let it be the one they think is not manageable. So that he comes in there kicking doors and throwing speakers at the walls, turning off the music of that locker room. And if it's Mourinho, make it happen. Make it happen. Now, I tell you that I still prefer the German for one reason. I'll talk about it later with Keek. For a reason, I don't know. I just feel like even though he doesn't have a team, I feel like he's more relevant right now. I like his playbook for 2026 more than Mourinho's. Mourinho would be coming back 16 years older than when he first came. I don't know if he has the same energy to raise hell in there. In terms of charisma and personality, he hasn't lost it, but I don't know if you get what I mean. Maybe he's become more of a grandpa, if I'm saying that right. He's gotten more grandfatherly. Mourinho is like a grandpa now. He's calmed down and is more relaxed. Maybe. There's also another thing. I don't know how Vinicius would react after what happened with Prestiani, taking the side of the Argentine player. And more than that, criticizing Vinicius for how he celebrated the goal. Yeah, we've already talked about that here. I didn't think it was right, and Vinicius probably thought it was even worse. But anyway, let me tell you something. If I'm in that position again, I won't change my mind. I don't care what Vinicius thinks. If Vinicius doesn't want to, there's the door. If Mbappé doesn't want to, there's the door. If Valverde doesn't want to because Mourinho thinks he can be the best right back in the world, then let him do it. If Valverde doesn't want to and his wife doesn't want to either, there's the door for them too. But clearly, I mean, I would give full powers to the coach, but please. And with this, I want to finish. I've already said it before, but every time I swear, every time I hear all this about Luis Enrique, yes, it's Luis Enrique. We don't like him. Who coached Barca, who is anti-Real Madrid, who left in 96, who one day came to the Bernabeu, scored a goal and celebrated like this to the crowd. I don't care. I don't care. Forget about Luis Enrique. Just picture Enrique Luis. What Mbappé says to him is something else. I would make it a painting, put it in the Prado Museum. I mean, to me, this is a masterclass. And if Luis Enrique or whoever, my coach or my boss, says this to me, the next day I'd go all out against the opposing team's equipment manager if I had to. I mean, really, if with this, a guy, a footballer, doesn't get motivated or isn't motivated to say anything else, it's because of what he's being told. The Michael Jordan of soccer. Man, if you do what I'm telling you, I mean, it's just, besides, Luis Enrique is absolutely right here. Well, let's remember it because this thing is just priceless. Wait, I don't have the sound on. Is that possible? Come on, let's go.
I read that you like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan would gut all over his teammates' asses and defend like a son of a bitch. You have to set that example first as a person, and as a player by pressing. You're going to have Kubasil. You're going to be the one marking Kubasil and Terrester. And you're going to spend the whole game pressing Kubasil so he doesn't advance and pressing Terrester on the quick rebound and getting back quickly. Why? To be a leader. Because you think like you have nothing to do with the rest of us. You're a phenomenon, a world-class player, no doubt about it. But that's not enough for me. A true leader is someone who, when you can't help us with goals, because the other day you had 2 top-level players marking you and you couldn't help us, you help us with everything on defense. You take sides, guys, defensive line, you 4 stay back, I'll take care of my 2 teammates, because if you press alone, it's amazing. But if on top of that you take Usman and Colomwani or Marcola or Gonzalo or Marco Asensio, and you set yourself as an example by pressing, you know what we have? A fucking machine of a team. That's what I want you to do as a leader here. The 2 months you have left, I want you to leave here on a high note. Fiji, no doubt about it. But you have to earn it. You earn it not by attacking. If you attack, you already have it. No one attacks like you. I know that already. But the day you attack me, you have to be the best defender in history. That's a leader. That's Michael Jordan. Yeah? Is that clear? Yes. I'll explain tomorrow's attack. Okay, thanks.
Seriously, I'd actually get it tattooed on my arm. I think it's something else. Forget that it's Luis Enrique. I think it's something else. But how? If you have any guts, you go out the next day. Maybe he did, huh? This was the second leg against Barca in the quarterfinals 2 Champions League seasons ago, right? Or 3. Well, he ended up scoring the goal and all that. It wasn't the best year at PSG, not by a long shot, but then you can see he hasn't learned anything from that. Maybe it's just that nobody's talked to him like that again. But he was telling him, hey, get your career back on track, man. How did he say it? I know that when it comes to attacking, you're a god. There's nobody better than you, but if you also do the other things, are you good or are you not? It's not that you're going to be the best, it's that you're going to make the team better. That's really me. That's why I want this. I don't know if he's coming, but I want a guy who tells Mbappé this needs to be better. Then it goes in one ear and out the other. But if it goes in one ear and out the other, after 1 game, after 2, after 3, let him sit on the bench while they say he scores a lot. Yeah, but I don't want him because he doesn't listen, and I want my team to play a certain way. In modern football, everyone has to run. Sorry about that, but look, Ancelotti used to say that now the forwards just need to score goals for me. What happened last year? If the year before we won the Champions League, and if we win the Champions League. But I mean, you don't have a guy like Luis Enrique says who has another wonderful thing, which is the one up until now. There was a guy who moved around who I couldn't control because he moved wherever he wanted. As we're seeing in the videos, he says, this coming year, I'm going to control every situation. And he says every single one without exception. And he does this with his jaw, which is such a classic image of the guy. I knew it, of course, when we won everything back in 24. Listen, in Madrid, there are 2 guys up front, Rodrigo and Vinicius, who helped out defensively. Sorry, they really helped out defensively. He had them convinced. A midfielder played as a number 9, and when they needed a bit more goal threat, he'd bring on Jose Lucia. Everything was more or less balanced. A guy comes in who plays and runs wherever he wants. He's a god going forward. That's why he scores 40-plus goals, but it's not good for the team overall. A modern coach about to reach his 2nd consecutive Champions League final, having already won the last one and holding 2 Champions League titles. By the way, and who makes his team play like a machine? Is he telling you that there? Well, anyway, there are people who tell you the name, right? If you have to say something to someone, do you put it in writing or not? No, yes, of course. And the coach who comes to Madrid is the one who has to do it. I mean, he has to do this. The same thing that Luis Enrique has done here. Choose what works best for you and give it a like. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, share, and have a good night.